Hi guys, this is GSMDome and I'm here with the unboxing of the brand new Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. We even have a special case for it, bought separately. Okay, so it's time. This is the most powerful of them all. There are four models. There's a foldable one, there's a Pixel 9, there's a Pixel 9 Pro, and the XL, which is the biggest. It has a 6.8-inch screen. It has a periscope camera at the backside, and there are a few differences between this one and the Pixel 9 Pro except for the size of the battery and of the screen. This is what it looks like. It's like the head of a robot. The frame is no longer united with the camera module, and the price is $1,099 for the version we have here. It's the more tame version, and if your eyes are closed and you're gripping it tight, it feels like an iPhone Pro Max. It's an unboxing, so let's see what's inside the box. First of all, an interesting setup here. It reminds me of a VHS tape, this part here. It has two special ribbons which have to be ripped off just like Apple. And here we have the classic metal key used to access the nano SIM card slot. You also have eSIM support, and here a bunch of useful information. Now the phones were unveiled on 13th of August and there's four of them. Once again, the Pixel 9, Pixel 9 Pro, Pixel 9 Pro XL, and the Pixel 9 Fold. And this one is the cable going from USB-C to USB-C. As usual, as it's the custom nowadays, you're not getting a charger. Nope, you are not. Pixel 9 Pro XL has an advantage. Both this model and the other Pro model have 12 years of special Gemini Advanced, which has extra features. And of course, you're also getting 2 terabytes of storage in Google One. And here we bought a case, which is something like $20 for the handset. It has a soft touch backside and it fits the color of the phone we have here. It actually reminds me of one of my old iPhone cases, just so you know. It's very comfy. I love the way it feels, and it's, once again, it's an original Google accessory. It has the whole Google Pixel thing going for it. Team Pixel. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side for now, and let's try and focus on the handset itself. It's a rather large smartphone, I get that out of the way, and I think it's time to address the design. So once again, we have the trademark visor camera, but it's no longer united to the aluminum frame. It's separate now. It's still protruding quite a bit, and this is definitely not a small phone. It comes with IP68 certification, and it's pretty bulky. It's big and I would say rather solidly built. It has Gorilla Glass protection at the front side. From what I know, it should be Gorilla Glass Victus 2 at the front and 2 at the back. It has a matte back. It's not glossy. The frame is glossy and may draw some fingerprints. There's a problem with the phone. The fact I'm always pressing the volume up button instead of the power button. My tendency is to press here instead of here. But after a few days or weeks, I should get accustomed to it. Now, the colors are porcelain, rose quartz, hazel, and obsidian. And from what I know, this should be obsidian, a sort of dark gray. Aluminum frame, Gorilla Glass back, IP68 certification. I would say it's pretty well built, but it's a bit too big for me, and the flat edge may dig into your palms after a long call or gaming or whatever. Once again, very nice build. It doesn't feel vulnerable, but I feel that the bezels are a bit larger than what we're about to see this year on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, judging by the leaks. We also have always on display, and the promise of up to something like 3000 nits of brightness. But before that, let's actually talk about the screen. It's an LTPO OLED. That's something to remember here. It's a 6.8-incher with 120 Hz refresh rate and a resolution of 2292 over 1344 pixels. Once again, always on display available, and I can give you a teaser for the upcoming review. We reached almost 2000 lux units with this one here. It's a very, very bright screen. Now, if you go inside the phone, you'll be greeted with an unfamiliar CPU. It's the Google Tensor G4. 4nm octa-core with the Mali G715MC7 GPU, as well as a generous amount of RAM. I'm talking about something like 16 gigs of RAM, and starting from 128 going to 256, 512 or 1 terabyte of UFS 3.1 storage. Now the battery is hefty, but nowadays you're expecting even heftier. In spite of what it says here, it's actually a 5060 mAh unit with only 37 watts wired charging. It should be able to juice up the phone at about 70% in 30 minutes. There's also 23 watt wireless charging. with a special pixel stand, and 12-watt wireless charging with QI standard. There's even reverse wireless charging, just so you know. You put your headphones here or your watch, you should charge them up. You have stereo speakers. There's one at the bottom here, and there's not one here. Instead, there's one here in the earpiece. This is probably a special emitter for the ultra-wideband, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong, it may just be an antenna, but the antennas are cut in the side here. Okay, stereo speakers, no audio jack, no micro SD, and on the connectivity front, you are treated to Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7, there's 5G, Bluetooth 5.3, GPS dual band, NFC, USB-C 3.2, and ultra wideband. There's a fingerprint scanner in the screen, in this area here. It's of the ultrasonic variety, not optical, as one may expect. We also get a compass and barometer, which are usual features, but there's something extra here. There's a thermometer here, which helps you measure temperature, and there's a dedicated app. So we go here, they go to thermometer, you can measure object temperature and even people temperature, even skin temperature. Mine is 32. This object should be much cooler, 29.9. And this is another texture, it should have a different temperature, 29.7. You can tap to capture it, and you can even select from predefined objects. That's the thermometer. We also had one last year, so definitely not a shock. You also have SOS satellite messaging, just so you know. Now, finally, on the camera front, you can see the punch hole here. This one is a 42 megapixel shooter with f2.2 aperture. It's an ultra wide camera, by the way. Shoots 4K video in 60 frames per second, and we also have HDR. At the back side, things get a bit more complicated. This is the flash. This is the periscope camera. It's a 48 megapixel periscope telephoto camera with f2.8 aperture, dual pixel phase detection, autofocus, and optical image stabilization. 5x optical zoom. Now, the other two cameras, there's a main 50 megapixel shooter with f1.7 aperture, dual pixel phase detection, autofocus, optical image stabilization, and a special multi-zone laser for the autofocus again. I think we've covered everything. There's also 40 megapixel ultra wide camera with f1.7 aperture. It should have its own focus because we also have macro capture here. Okay, so the ultra wide camera offers a 120-degree view angle here and also dual pixel phase detection autofocus, so your macro needs are satisfied. This is the LED flash, and we also have 8K 30 frames per second capture, and boy, do we have something to dig into here. For panorama, you have to rotate your phone like this. You have night sight as well. You have photo. I'm actually intrigued that we don't have a color profile, as is trendy nowadays for Xiaomi's and iPhones. We have night sight, top shot. Basically, top shot is a creation of a short video, and then you keep the best frame afterwards. You have a timer. You also have macro focus. Let's actually see that again here. Okay, so macro focus and full ratio of the image. You can capture photos in 50 megapixel resolution. You can capture raw files. You can select your lens or have it selected automatically. Palm timer for the selfies, frequent faces to remember the faces you capture frequently. Video stabilization on or off, and audio zoom. These are all photo options. You also have a portrait available for the 1.5x or 2x. You can also not alternate between many other zoom levels. This is a new feature called Add Me. You take a photo of people and then you jump straight into the capture and you appear next to them even though you're not next to them. You also have long exposure and action pan, which is basically for fast moving objects like I did here. So this is a selection of the action pan. Actually tried out to capture guy on a scooter in action. Now for the video part, we have a slow motion, if it lets me select it, time lapse, slow motion, night sight, regular video, blur video, and pan, which is a dramatic panning. Its options are included here. These are our white balance, exposure, and that's about it for the video. We have other options for the video, like these ones here. There's a flash, there's a video boost. Basically, it's a boost of color, lighting, and stabilization, even in 8K. Which is quite useful. Resolution, frame rate, once again I swiped in the wrong way. 10-bit HDR is part of the package, stabilization of 3 types, macro focus and speech enhancement, which highlights the well, speaking part of your videos, useful for vloggers. Okay, now back to the photo. You can tweak here white balance, shadows, brightness, ISO, and more, but not in this mode. No. In the regular mode, you have the most tweaks here. Focus, shutter speed, ISO, white balance, shadow, and brightness. That's about it as far as the camera is concerned. Of course, that's not about it. There's obviously more to unpack here, but that's about it at first sight. Okay, so I think it's time to address the software. Somehow, Google decided to launch the Pixel without Android 15, so we got Android 14 with a stock experience. You know everything about the Android 14 right now after 1 year of usage. What's new is that there is no longer Google Assistant, we have Google Gemini now. You can talk to it and make it help you with tasks. Okay, so if you go here, and if you go here, you can either use it like this in a small version, or you can have the full screen like this. You have suggestion, you can settle debates, you can plan a meal, you can generate an image in watercolor style. This thing with the image generation happens when you try Gemini Advanced. That will happen once you get the phone, and yeah, I'm eligible for it, but the problem is that if I'm activating this, the other guys who will test the phone after me will not get it. So yeah, you get 2 terabytes of storage, Gemini Advanced, Gemini in Gmail, Docs, and more. In Gmail, it can do something crazy good. For example, if you have an entire selection of emails from your school to your kids, it can read 100 of them and summarize the core things and give you something to do regarding your school's kids. So it can summarize emails. It can also create a trip plan for Budapest. That it can do. It can tell me what to visit, how many days do I have, what to do, where to stay, what the weather is like, what's the best period of the year to visit. And that's just one example. Gemini Advanced is also more conversational rather than the typical Google Assistant, and it will be a very nice back and forth. It's more humanized. That's why it's actually worth it. So you get 12 months of that for free on the handset. There are other extras which are not available in my area just yet. Well, one is the weather has been more detailed now. It's smarter, it has AI, it has real-time maps, real-time predictions. There's also Pixel Studio, which is an image generator. So yeah, this is the weather with the weather map, precipitation, wind, sunrise, sunset, visibility, humidity, forecast. It has been upgraded once again with the power of Gemini. Okay, you also have something called call notes. So if you're during a call with a person, you can have notes taken after you're speaking to remember the most important thing. There's also something called the Pixel screenshots, which now will get a separate folder, will not be mixed up in the gallery, and you'll have information extracted from them and kept safely for you later on. So if you took a screenshot of a product in a store, it will be kept separate for you to come back to it and maybe buy that product. You get reminders of mails to respond to, and once you get Gemini Advanced, you can input it. Check this out. You can give Gemini Advanced 1,500 pages and expect a summary from it. So yeah, I think it's worth it. You're going to spend $20 a month on it unless you get the phone or the Pro one. If you get the regular Pixel 9, you're not getting that offer. So yeah, keep that in mind. Aside from that, you can see here that the customizations options persist. These are the wallpapers and styles, and you can even go ahead and create a wallpaper using AI. So yeah, more wallpapers, AI wallpaper, painting, and I can change the keywords to have it suit my needs. Okay, so that's the wallpaper part. There are the themes, there are the icons, these are the widgets. Minimalistic as always, but we're still waiting on the Android 15 and its anti-theft features, its cool customization options, and the changes it brings to the quick settings and notifications area. In a nutshell, this is the first impression about the brand new Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Too bad that they're keeping the Gemini Advanced behind the paywall or behind the buy wall, so to say. So yeah, there's that. You're also going to get 7 years of updates for this phone, 7 years of Android updates. But since we're starting at Android 14, you're getting basically 6 compared to the expectations. And I almost forgot to show you, I actually took a bunch of shots here, and of course the photo editing has become smarter, obviously. So I have this photo here and I press edit. There's a lot to do here. We have suggestions like unblur, dynamic, portrait, enhance, color pop. We have crop, we have tools, portrait, blur, magic eraser, zone enhance, color focus. So a lot of tools with AI have been added to your shots. Of course, you can erase people from shots if you want to. That's the thing we had from the past year and on other phones as well. Okay, that's it from us. We'll be back with a full review very soon for the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Goodbye.